Like, but you still say you always come back to learning, even with how players shift and how, and I mean, and even at your age, like just saying like there's still something out there that I can learn. I just think that's a really impactful message when I think about, what you said is that kid that you're trying to reach these days. And you're like, look, like student, kid, human, whoever, colleague, coworker, like I'm still learning. So you should still be learning too.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that, again, for me, it's just you have to evolve,
Yeah.
and like we were really known for when I was coaching high school, our teams would get out and press and do a lot of things.
Yeah.
We played man to man the whole time we did it. When Anthony, who you had on,
Yeah.
last time he was here, when he played, those guys were really good at playing zone. We'd never played zone before ever in my entire time, but we knew with that team that was probably going to be the best way for us to play. So we made an adjustment and changed the things we did.
You
You can't be
optimized.
stuck in that one kind of thing because eventually people are going to figure it out. So we tried to always say, look, we're never going to lose games because one, we're not in as good a shape, and two, never lose because they play harder than us. We're always going to play hard, and that I think
Yeah.
that was a staple of all of our enterprise teams, all
Yeah,
the sports I
absolutely.
coached. That the kids always played hard, and people always ask me, like, how did you get your kids
How
to
do you
play
do it?
hard?
How do you do it,
And you
coach?
know what? It's really easy. Like if you don't, you don't play. It's really
Okay.
easy. It's like the bench is a great motivator. If you don't play, here's the reason you're not playing hard enough. If you do, then we'll get you in the game and you'll play some. So
And even if you're not maybe quote unquote the best player or in the top 5 or the top 9 or whatever it is, like for your team's top 6, right? Like you're still just, how did you integrate those, those role players or those practice players or those like important pieces? Because you talk about Anthony, and I think about us, the story that he shared. He shared a story with me one time where it was like you put the first unit against the second unit in one practice, and like he's just giving him the business, and like I don't know what he said, but he's like you went off and said you're not nothing, Williams, and da 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 da, and you're going crazy on him. He's like, I'll never forget. He said I ran the entire rest of the practice.
well, and you know what the funny part was that very rarely did we do the first team against the second team in practice with with the twins. I put them on opposite teams because they were so competitive that I made them play against each other.
Right.
And so
Smart.
it was, that way I knew both teams were going to have like a fiery person on each team. And so, yeah, that was how we kind of competed. I'd love to be able to tell you a story about Anthony, if that's okay.
Oh, go ahead,
Oh,
coach.
yeah.
Absolutely.
So his senior year, or maybe not his senior, but we're playing in the section finals. We're going to play Foothill, and we've played them 3 times already, right? And this is like that's right before the last practice, okay, and the night before, and I tell the kids, okay, look, we have one more practice tomorrow, and tonight we're gonna draft teams. So I made Anthony and James choose teams, right? So they choose their teams up, and we get done with it, and then I tell them, okay, tomorrow we're going bowling, and they had no idea what we were talking about. So I took them bowling. We didn't even practice; just took them bowling, and they were terrible. They'd never bowled before, either one of them. And it was so funny to watch them because they're such competitive kids. So it took all the pressure off of us. We ended up just winning the section finals very easy.
Wow.
And then the next day we find out, on that Sunday, we find out who we're going to play in the state playoffs. Well, I get a call from them, and because we're going to meet at my house and discuss who we're playing. Anthony calls me up and he goes, Coach, can we go bowling again on Monday? We went and practiced today. And it's like, Anthony, this is we're only doing this once. This was just a way to be able, break the ice with you guys a little bit. So,
And that's funny, coach, because I feel like he learned from you. And one of the things I think about your players, and like, I play with some of them, when I think about like, Cavalli or like Jordan Spazchek or like just, and like the cool part is like, I love playing with like guys like that, especially like Jordan and stuff, because it's like those kids, man, I do know it's like they really still understand the game. And even when you play with them now, it's like they still try to get everybody involved. They still share the rock. They still are doing the things that like you've taught them, like to play the right way. Even,
right.
I mean, high school's gone. Like we're
Right.
out 15, 20 years, right? And I still love getting in the gym with them.
Yeah, and you
it's,
know what? That's to me is the part that's the best part about coaching for me is to see all these kids that played for you and then come back and coach. And I've had a couple of them come back and say, Coach, like a couple of girls that played for me that were like there were struggles when they were in high school playing for
Yeah.
me, and then they come back and they coach, and they said, "Coach, we have a way different appreciation for you now
It's
after
totally.
coaching because it's so difficult." But I think the main thing for me is just all the people. Like you said, I've coached a lot of games, but I coach a lot of people,
Yes.
and I love
Yes.
the relationship pieces that we still have. I love all these people that have coached that I've been able to coach that still come back and watch us,
Yeah.
and still communicate with me. So yeah, that's the beauty of it right there.
Yeah, I've watched you, from a distance, from afar, and I mean, I remember just the impact of being at like your last volleyball game that you were going to coach at Enterprise High School, and I mean, it's just crazy. I'm just sitting next to random people, and I played for him, and I played for that. I mean, coach, I'm going to the soccer park, and it's like, and I'm playing, or my little kid is playing, right, and it's like, and it's Brody's kid on the other side, or it's like,
Right.
or Alex Cooper, you know what I mean, is her niece is on my team, and it's just like, so everywhere you go, it's like, man, coach, like what an impact, man. Where you're like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I think that's part of the reason why, because the coaches that I had when I was younger were so impactful to me that made it really alluring to me that what I want to do. I want to be able to make a difference in some of these kids' lives, and so yeah, whatever way it may be.
And coach, I know I said earlier in the in the show that you won a lot, but teach me about or share with us and what you've learned about losses, like and some of the losses that you've taken, and you're like, man, what do I got to do?
Well, I think that's the thing is that if you're preaching to kids that we want you to fail, and then you got to use that failure to get better, then you have to be the same way.